Time marches on, and the age of a new king draws nearer.
Seems Luis is a man who likes things done efficiently, as a letter came early in the morning, going to a place called Night Prowler, so I guess I better get going. Before that though, I was able to get a new archetype, meaning that we are now at 15, so I went to Academia to give Maud the good news. With the mission complete and my imagination at level 3, Maud remembers something, having a face that's distraught, seeming to remember an unpleasant memory, telling us a long time ago he had a trusted ally, and their eventual betrayal. Alas, he cannot recall their face, only having a deep trust in him, and so the wounds of his heart are equally so. I tell him to not worry about it, as he's back to his usual self, finding that he thinks in circles quite often. For example, he believed he was conducting this research on his own volition, but is that the truth? He's starting to feel that his research may be the will of another laboring under their guidance. He seems to be afraid of his own past, so I reassure I won't betray him. He is reassured, feeling the same way as our bond grows stronger. And we part, not before another quest, needing to get Commander to level 15. I don't have that archetype yet, so we've got a long way to go, as I go to the Night Prowler. The two Parapets are waiting for us as Stroll sees it's them. Fidelio asks if he was expecting the red carpet. This is merely a pre-show. Calling me a kid, Gallico retorts, but Basilio tells her to not have a laugh at his older brother. That's when he gets to step in. That shocks Hulkenberg as Fidelio laughs it off, thinking that the Magnus brother's name was making rounds, but he guesses not. He brushes it aside as a first offense, having a question for us before we can see the big man. We better think long and hard as the entire pub starts eyeing us down, their stares like daggers, asking for my kingly pitch. I respond that I don't even want to be king. He replies, of course not. They'd kill us on the spot. If I was saying we're not doing ourselves any favors, as Stroll says that we're all about impressing Luis and we've done it. You're about results, aren't you? Basilio butts in with his own question, asking why we want to serve Luis, and it's quite simple. I hate Forden and the church. We seem to have common ground, but he adds that we had a sanctuarist publicly executed, so we're not in a position to moralize. Stroll replies that we don't expect people to take our side, we just wanted to right wrongs. Fidelio just seems uninterested, saying we've got some brass, adding that we're more accomplished than the walking headache, and we will be useful, as Basilio tells us that we're in. Fidelio tells us about how lesser tribes place and our hope rides on Luis. They'll do what it takes, and sign today, so will we. And with that, we're formally invited to his Skyrunner. Of course, no funny business. What they don't know is our little fairy friend will do the spy mission, hopefully. They didn't notice her, so we get going there. Looking at the Skyrunner close up, the thing is utterly gigantic. Basilio tells us bumpkins that we can fawn over the Chadarius all we want. It won't be flying for a while with the soiree coming up. Fidelio tells us to follow him, and they'll give us a grand tour. Just friendly advice. Be on our best behavior. Trying to think smart or make a rude comment about Luis. Dead on the spot. Well, I didn't plan to, because I kind of expected that, as we go inside. They seem to have elevators here, but they don't work for us, as we don't have the key for them to activate it. They keep suspicious people out. Looks like some nifty magic, all things considered, as we talk amongst ourselves for a moment and quickly stop as the older brother gets suspicious, and we continue onwards to Luis's office. As we just take in how truly big it all is, as Fidelio tells us to not look, seeming to get suspicious of us. As a large man appears, likely a guard, getting cocky and confident of his powers, calling us pissants compared to his power, wanting to settle who's stronger already, as he gets ordered to go back to his post, and he leaves, not before getting the last word. Well, he was kind of a jerk, but I wouldn't expect less. As we get to the reception of the runner, since it'd be daft for a bunch of strangers to go into his personal quarters, and with us going to meet Luis, Gallica goes their separate way. I just hope that she can do it. We enter the quarters and Luis comments on how beautiful Brylehaven is, talking about their naval might well have won the Annex War if it wasn't for Uchronia to forgo their honor and launch an opportunistic attack in the wake of a storm. Even now, united in the kingdom, their pride and their power is what keeps the city alive. He understands we want to join his ranks, and he would like to hear what we wish to know most. Ask, and he will answer. That's why he summoned us. I ask how he plans to defeat Forden, and he's honest, just saying killing him. Not that his victory rests on it, it's just here in the church are malignant tumors on this country's flesh, and he wishes to exorcise it to save this land. Stroll responds asking if he's not protected by the king's magic. Luis just says that the king is not a god, so there's always a way. He senses that we have no small conviction that drives us, and he believes keeping us will prove useful, permitting us to join as we're put to our first test, telling me to cut my finger on the heart of magic silver, let the blood flow, but I am warned, if my heart isn't dedicated to Luis, it won't just be a drop, I might lose much more. Luis notices my hesitation in my words, telling me that fear and anxiety, they always lead people astray. Power and order trumps all, that's the crux of his rule. I go for it, and it seems that we pass, but at the same time, by their reaction, it was all just a silly test, as Luis tells us that on 13th of August, we will be holding a soiree, which will be the fine opportunity for us to make our grand debut. That sounds like a plan and will give us some time to get ready for the spell, but I wonder how Gallica is going, but I'll just have to wait.
Only this area feels any different from the rest. I need a key to get in though. It'd be nice if I could see what's going on in here too.
Is that boy candidate here already?
Meeting with Count Luis as we speak, I think. Didn't think he'd end up on our side.
I expect we'll run into each other on the job, eh? That said, let's get back to our rounds.
Yikes! They're coming this way! I have to hide! Is this the other side of that door? Never thought it'd lead to a place like this. This area just screams suspicious with all the guards. The formula's gotta be somewhere around here. Is someone coming? Figures they'd show up now. Isn't that the songstress?
Lady Juna, is something amiss?
I do recall saying I didn't need a personal guard today.
Yes, but this is Luis's personal quarters, we thought in case you needed.
Well, I don't. You can do your guarding downstairs for today. Do you understand? And, well, I mean, do you really want to be guarding this door when Count Luis returns? Oh, the things you would hear.
You mean, idiot, don't make the lady repeat herself.
Close one. Opportunities like this are so few and far between. I've got to get this back in place. Oh, wonderful.
How were these arranged again? A magic spell? Is that the formula? Just my luck. I can't carry out something that big, and now I know where it is.
Time passes as Neris is happy with sworn fealty since now he can get into the guts of the Skyrunner. We'd likely be killed if he did, but Hulkenberg worries about Gallica seeming to be unfound as she returns telling us that she knows where it is, thinking she saw the real thing and bets it's somewhere in his personal quarters, adding that Juna was in the room too, wondering why she was there. However, getting there seems to be tricky, needing to go through some hoops, which is getting past 3 blocks and getting likely keys, and then having to wait for a time where there's less guards, so likely at the night of the soiree. Hulkenberg asks how we can get away with it as Stroll has an idea, we find a route and find out when it will be less populated, then on the night of the soiree, Gallica and one other will slip out, get the formula and escape, thinking I should be the guy to do it, shocking the others, but his reasoning is sound, thinking that Luis would notice any absence, so we may as well just send the big guns. And I can agree with that. Me and Gallica work well as a team too, so in a way, it feels that it was fated to happen, as the night ends with a plan set.